Can you please state your name to camera?
Sure. Warren Corcoran?
Susan Lamb.
Kevin Perry.
Michelle Lewis.
Mark Chapman.
And what do you want out of life, Warren? September 20th, 1972. What happens when you take someone who is lost and insecure and expose them to a relevant philosophy? Subjects will be exposed to said philosophy through J.D. Salinger's 1951 novel Catcher in the Rye, specifically the character of Holden Caulfield, a troubled student who rejects the system. Will they take on the personality of Holden Caulfield? Or will they completely reject his philosophy and fall back into their natural uncomfortable state?
The year was 1973. I was a freshman at Cornell University. I was fresh out of money, and this department on campus was offering $2 a day for research subjects. That was a lot of money.
1973?
Yeah.
That's about $10.
Ah. Well, so I get to this place, and this lady, Dr. Rochelle Lemus, she leads me to this room with 4 other freshmen sitting around. She tells me I've got into the experiment. No pre-screening or anything. I'm not kidding. And at that point, I should have known better. I mean, news of the Stanford prison experiments had just gotten out. I'm not kidding, but all right, what do I know? I'm just a freshman, right? Who am I to say anything? One by one, we're all led out of the waiting area. Finally, it's my turn. I'm the last one. She asks me a few simple questions about myself, then throws me into this small room with just a chair and a book. Catcher in the Rye. She tells me to get reading. I'm not kidding.
English class literature affects a very particular part of the brain. Apicem suasionem iracundium, Latin for the thought of the rebellious, is the central hub of knowledge intake and core to the human personality. It is a useful and important part of the human mind, supplying one with a natural and healthy sense of skepticism towards the outside world. Unfortunately for the human race, it is easily corruptible. Hi Warren, how are you feeling? I see you've changed your attire. Did you read the novel?
Why must we go on with this constant questioning?
Is everything okay?
Doc, you mind if I ask you a question? Why must we continue in the way society expects us to? You're so fake. So plastic. A bunch of phonies, all you doctors, telling me what I need, asking me how I feel. How do you know what I need? And when you find out how I feel, what are you gonna do? Send me to a psychologist? It's exactly what I need. To be sent from one phony doctor to the next. Do you want to dance? Man, we were all changed after we read Catcher. I could finally think straight. For the first time ever, I could see through the muck of civilization.
God, I wish I could just run away someplace. Somewhere exotic, like the Bahamas. Or maybe Maine.
People always clap for the wrong things. Always for some phony song or movie. You never see people applauding for like a good cup of coffee. When's the last time you saw someone applaud coffee?
Goddamn money. It always makes me blue as hell. But we are getting paid, right?
Hey, guy got a rum and coke?
God, I remember the panic in that graduate student's eyes when she saw me. You know, I think she was so attracted to me that she just couldn't take it anymore. But anyway, they threw us into this room. They didn't want any word of their experiment gone wrong, getting out. Quarantine. Now, it wasn't any fun for the first few days, I can tell you that. We were all sizing each other up, trying to see who was phony, who was corny, and who was real. God, I hate that stuff. But that's just the way things are before they can begin, I guess. But days 4 and 5, Those were some great days. I'm not kidding.
Good morning, Doctor.
Well, what are they doing in there today? Can you tell?
It looks like Mark is rereading the book in the corner again. And the rest? Looks like a doctor. I think they're slow dancing. Warren,
Yes, Sue?
let's run away together.
Okay, Sue.
God, that's some cheesy shit.
Sex is something I don't understand. I swear to God I don't. And there was a lot of flirting in quarantine, a lot of sexual tension. But none of us built up enough courage to do anything about it.
Hey, Warren.
Hey, Sue. What are you up to?
Nothing. How about you?
PJ.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never had the courage to talk to her alone after that. We all knew what we had to do when we escaped. It was a beautiful time. One of the best things I've ever seen. I'm not kidding. A real new order. They called us the Caught.
Hello, I'm Carl O'Donnell here outside the Office of Admissions building at Cornell University, where we're not quite sure what is going on. The situation is still developing, but from what we can understand, 5 students have locked themselves inside in an attempt to overthrow the current administration.
And rolling.
We're the Caught, and we demand that the following rules be implemented into the Cornell University mission statement. 1. No monetary transactions of any kind. 2. No being corny. 3. No being phony. 4. No morons. And of course, 5. Certainly, things should remain the same. And that's...
Campus police, open up!
Shit.
This is your final warning.
We always knew it was temporary. A 5-person holdout isn't exactly the best way to get something done. I'm not kidding. Of course, the officers beat down the door. They dragged us out of there, hands behind our backs. God, I hate that stuff. We all took the rest of the semester off after that. Spent a week walking around New York City. Individually, of course. We lost track of Mark somewhere in that time. He just up and disappeared. Next year, the rest of us went back to Cornell. But the school wasn't dumb. They knew to put us somewhere no one would pay attention to our dangerous ways of thinking. The philosophy department. We never did change anything. The school kept on schooling the way it always had been. The phonies kept on acting phony. The morons kept on being morons. But it was never really about changing our environment. It was about changing us. And we certainly did that for all of us. For the first time in our lives, we could see through the system. We knew how to break those overbearing limitations of life. Sure, our philosophy may not be so practical to survive in the real world, but it touched on something greater than survival. It was about living. Looking back on it, I wouldn't have changed a thing.
You know who I hate? John Lennon.